Okay, I want to start a live stream. I'm trying to do a couple more live streams to make up for being out for the last few weeks. So I'm going to try to, get um, provide some information for everybody that happens to be able to call in. And like always, this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Use this for your education, entertainment purposes only. All right, so take a look. The futures, I'm expecting more downside in the short term, but I mean, I wouldn't get too bearish again. Dow could come down maybe another 100 points or so from where we are. It doesn't have to get that far down though. ES, looking here, 453.8. So should come down. Nasdaq 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so my thinking is it's a connector in 3 and a 3-wave correction down. So tech should have more downside. And then 15,200, the Russell 1960, 1951, and then should go higher. So short-term market still should be under pressure. Bitcoin tried to break this pivot here. It wasn't able to do it, and again reject it. So this could be a very dangerous pattern for bulls. If this is right. If it's wrong, we should break this high. But I think it's going to really depend on the dollar index and where this is going into, and when 2 ends, then I believe Bitcoin will start to rise again. And then gold and silver should be starting this 5th wave up. Perhaps 4 can go a little lower in gold. 1950. So maybe gold has a little more downside left. Yeah, although it did erase divergence here, so it could truncate. So here we go. This is the kind of the pattern we're seeing. I think we'll see some selling pressure going into the Fed meeting, and perhaps a rally out of that meeting. So maybe the Fed won't be as hawkish or perceived to be as people expect. There's also, I heard, another meeting of the Politburo in China at some point, and that's where, if they're going to decide on stimulus, it would come out of that meeting. That was on Bloomberg tonight. I didn't get the date of that meeting, so that's another very important piece of information that would override any Fed news. If China decides to unleash, stimulus, that's going to cause the markets to pump and commodities to pump and the dollar to fall. When that happens, I would be more, looking for news there than I would care about the Fed meeting. I could care less about the Fed, whatever they're going to do. It doesn't really, I don't care about that. So let's go through your comments. I'm in Disney and BBAI. I think Disney's dangerous. BBAI not so dangerous, but I think Disney has some danger to it. When does its earnings come out? August 9th. Again, could be a huge move on earnings, and that could cause the waterfall sell-off. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of good news that's going to come out that I could anticipate, but who knows? But if this is the count, then you're in a great position. 1 2 1 2. But to me, if you break 84, the chart's broken. So until that breaks, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I don't like trading it, given so many things are so much higher So it's kind of like dead money. And maybe it'll be better when it starts running more to get in on that. And then BBAI, I like it. And I went over this in my live stream yesterday that it should be just doing a double correction down into this 176 area. And the reason is, let's take a look. We really want to see. So what's interesting is that divergence did erase. The daily stochastic has reset. So this could launch at any moment. Any moment, this could be done. So I did have this area at 175, but it doesn't have to make it. It could already be finished. I wouldn't be that bearish on it unless it broke 151. But I think what's going on here is games 1, 2, 3, connector 1, 2, 3, and then within this 1, 2, 3, and then you need another 3, 1, 2. So that's why I think it seems like it needs one more push lower, but I could be off by a swing. So, and the reason I like this long is it seems like 5 waves up from the low. If it was 3 waves, let's say we stop there, then I wouldn't like to trade this. So do what's best for you. The other idea is here, 1, 2, you have another 5 waves up here. So you have multiple 1, 2, 1, 2. So I do like trading it, and I would say if you're long, you're just going to have to be patient. But I believe the structure looks okay. Let's see, OKE. Let's take a look at that real quick. One OK. So we had the B and we had the C. We did make a lower low. It looks like, or we're still in B. Let's take a look. We'll have to use the RSI. So you see how the divergence was erased here. So it truncated, this 3 waves truncated. And the way I have to look at this now is that's 3 up. I mean, we could still theoretically be in the X wave. So this corrective sequence is over, but I don't like that picture. I don't like a flat correction either. Wouldn't work. So if you have a nice 3-wave correction, I mean, if you look, you could try to make it 5 up, which is what we did here in the connector, an ABC with 5 up. So it looks like we definitely have a 1 and a 2 coming out of this. This is 3. With that divergence. Yeah, so this is one corrective cycle down in 5. So yeah, I think I have to go back to this. Right, and then this is in 3 and 3. So this Y, then this is a pretty bold call. I don't particularly like making a call like this, but it seems like it should do that. So does it have earnings coming up? Yeah, maybe it's got some bad news to share with everybody. But let's see if it's the whole correction could be over. off this peak. So you see you're still in the corrective structure. So this is possible what I'm showing here. You see all that bullish divergence that should really, you want that erased, especially on the weekly time frame. So I would say it's in danger of dropping at any moment, technically. In it's in what I would call a short area. This is a short box for shorts, but it's pushing the extreme where you would be stopped out, but I would really stop out at 67. But here's the thing about it. You really can't say the correction's over until this line I draw here breaks. So if this weekly RSI can break, which would more than likely break that this pivot here at 67, then it's something different. Then it could even be extended more in X, which is probably what I would call at that point. But for now, I'll go with this bearish view, but know that it can get invalidated, and if it does, then X will go up. It will do something like this. In 1, 2, 3, maybe break that high and then down. I just don't like the look to call this like a finished bottom in a 1-2. This just doesn't look like the correction's finished. In the RSI, has that divergence. So it would be unusual. Nothing's like impossible, but it would be unusual to have this be the bottom here. But do what's best for you. I do think it's got a little bit more downside coming, or more downside coming. Okay. So the market rallies to 26. So I was looking at playing around with some timing cycles. I don't know which chart I have it on. And I don't trade with the time-in cycles, guys. I don't trade that. But I was playing around with that that possibility, and so I mean, if you look, see if I can explain this. So 09, so from that low to the 2020 low, 133 bars. So from low till next low is 2031. So that's low to low. So the high would be somewhere in the middle of this. So that would be 25 and 26. So I guess to your point, it seems like, yes, it could peak, the market could peak in 25, 26, and that kind of, I think, goes with what the Bitcoin's 4-year cycle. If Bitcoin peaked at if it peaked here at 21, and actually it's better, I think, to go from bottom to bottom, trough to trough. So this is 19 and 22. So it's a little over 3 years, about 3 years. So if it's 4-year cycle, 26, 20. So the end of 25 would be that, around that time period. So we could see that happen. And here's the thing: there's plenty of time for this scenario to play out, like where you have X. And let's say you do get this Y crash correction, and then you can rally hard out of that V bottom out of that, whatever that scenario is. It's possible to do that, and you're looking at 26. So the market could do a massive pump up into this area. And I have this line here for a reason. That's the time-in cycle. August 26th So the market, even if this drop happens, it could still ricochet and come up and finish and pump, and then you have a much bigger crash after that into 31. So I do think into 29, 30. So this is possible. The other scenario is to melt up everything and it moons. And really, if we don't pull back, we're on pace to get into the unthinkable levels. We would probably hit SPY 1000 toward the end of the decade, and if this doesn't pull back, and then that would be probably a 1929 style crash. Right after that, coincidentally, probably around 2029. Go figure. So, but I don't know. I can't. I'm not a fortune teller, guys. I don't know. I just think that we have this run that should continue, and we're set up for a pretty serious decline. Whether we break the lows or not is not guaranteed, though. That is not known because we need to see what this looks like when this starts to come back down. And then, like I mentioned before, if this doesn't happen and we accelerate through this, I think you have to ask yourself, why is that happening? And that would be happening because the dollar is essentially collapsing and we're in some hyperinflationary scenario that we've never experienced before in the United States. And that's the other wild card. And that's why when people tell me, is housing going to crash and I'm going to buy the dip and all that, well, people want to. Back in '09 and '08, when I was trading in '07, if you said housing was going to crash, you were like a Looney Tunes. You were like foolish for even having that thought, let alone saying it to someone that was market savvy, especially in 2006. Right now, I feel hyperinflation is the same thing. If I say, oh, the dollar is going to collapse, gold and silver are going to moon, crypto will moon, and yeah, equities pretty much will moon because they're just like we've seen in other markets that hyperinflate. People think I'm Looney Tunes, crazy, stupid, idea. But I'm just reading the charts, guys, and reading where interest rates probably are going. I think it's more probable than you realize, and that could be a melt up in everything, but also a melt up in the cost of food, the cost of gasoline, the cost of everything. And that would be a pretty big crisis. And that is something these charts are starting to show us is something that shouldn't be so Looney Tunes because the 2 year is going to make a roller wave higher. It is going to be sitting at these levels, 10, 11%. It's going to happen. That is going to could be a catastrophe. Why would something like this happen? Think about that. The dollar index is going down. It may not stop at 92. If it breaks this long-term trend line, it's heading for the 70s or even 60s. I'm just saying, guys. Just read in the chart what's in front of us. What we would hope is the dollar rebounds here, and we would hope the 2 year stays in this consolidation for a long time, years and years, to allow the market to continue in its current state. But at some point, we'll have this punch up. So that's my thoughts on the market, the deeper picture. So let me go back into some more questions, guys. So Unity, I'm in Unity when it fell into the $38 area, and I'm long, and I think it's got a great setup. Do what's best for you because I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong on Unity. Let me find it real quick for everyone. So that's a possible opportunity I didn't mention earlier today. If I can find it. Damn. Maybe I didn't save it. Yeah, it's not in my tech stocks. Okay. So Unity software. massive flat correction, A, B, C. We bottom in the area of accumulation, 1, 2, and then we come out of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another 1, and now we're in 2. So it's in a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. Within another 1, 2, you have a left shoulder. Looks like we're finishing the head, and we'll get a right shoulder, and then out launch. So it's a great setup, and I was fortunate enough to get in on this dip right here, right around there. I got in on that, and I'm just holding it. And this is just another shakeout. It could be done here. It's at the wave 4 low. No divergence on 45. 4 hour. I don't like that. I'd like to see it push down lower. So perhaps it does have another swing to $40. Comes down to 41. Would be a good opportunity. I'm looking at 1, 2, 1, 2. But do what's best for you. But it seems like a good setup for a wave 3 breakout. And then let's check out BABA here. So BABA trades with China, especially the KWEB and a bunch of other ETFs. So it did take this one out. So I believe where this is either done here, although it's too much divergence. So this could be a connector wave with this decline. Oh, I'm in the KWEB. My bad. Let me go back to BABA here. Okay, so BABA. So there's too much divergence here. So it's probably got another swing lower. It looks like it's not ideal here for bottom. You're in a new, so to me, this is like an A, B, C. I mean, it could do something like this. Something like that. It needs to hold that 58. This would be an absolute gift if this happens to get in BABA. Now, the other alternative is X extends and then Y comes up, So I think it's in a connector wave, and it may not be finished yet. Going higher in the short term. It could still see like 98. But when I look at it on the 4 hour, you see there's no divergence there. So chances are it's finished and it's starting to head lower. Is China open yet? What's the Hang Seng doing right now? It's not open yet. Yeah, so maybe this is too bullish here. Maybe we're still in this 2 wave. It's going to retest that low. The worst case scenario is this 2 is still in play, and it's something like this. Right, very bearish. I don't think that's gonna happen. This looks very 3 waves down with no divergence on the 4 hours. So I mean, it looks like to me China overall is gonna stay supported. It's just maybe BABA is gonna have this little dump sometime soon. But I don't really like the chart of BABA, to be honest. I don't like trading that chart. It just doesn't look right. It looks like it's set up for a dump. BA and Fisker. Yeah, I think BA to me is like, if I look at it, if I can find it here, it's in some kind of 5th wave. Let's get rid of this. So again, it's in some kind of 5th wave. It may already be done, the 5th wave. Was it made a new high here? If not, it's tried to punch up a 5th wave here. And if the Dow is going to extend higher, more than likely this will too. something like that, and then it should head lower. Now it's yet to be seen if it's going to make it to new lows. It's going to hit this $46 area. We don't know that yet. There's a chance that this is the low here, but I do think this cycle is massive and it should come all the way back to 180 at some point. So I think the easy money is done in this, and it's in a distribution pattern. Perhaps 5, could make it to this 240 area, but it may have already peaked, and it may already be starting its bear cycle. And if I look here, let's take a look at what we've got going on here. We're getting close. So you see this weekly, when that weekly breaks, then this is done, and it's going to go down. And it probably will come down to, like I said, 180, 170, or it's done and it's going to new lows. So it'll either be a huge move, a huge drop, or small choppy drop. So we'll see how it plays out, and we could still be in X and a 3-wave, move off this bottom here, something like that. So that's a look at BA and Fisker. Yeah, I was looking at that too. I just don't like trading the EV stocks except for Tesla. For whatever reason, I just don't like trading them, but you guys, I know there's some upside potential in it. See if I can find Fisker here. Thought I had it somewhere in here. There it is. Okay. So it broke the downtrend line, so that's good. It's an ugly 5 waves up off the low, but you can technically say it's 5. There's your RSI peak, and there's your higher high right there. Let me see what else we've got. And there's another peak. So you definitely have 2 impulses here. So it looks like it's in a cycle higher, and it should continue to extend higher. And it could be done here too. It could be done at $6. If it breaks, there's a dip buy opportunity in Fisker to get that wave 3 that everyone wants so bad. That would be a back test of this trend line at 569, 556. So that's probably the more likely area it's headed in a 3-wave correction. For 1-2 setup, for a wave 3 of 3 breakout, this also tells me oil could be going much higher. Because typically these stocks oil's running hot. So let's take a look here and see, is it an end in diagonal in the weekly? The DXY, I mean, long term, the way I look at the DXY is I'm just showing you like a doomsday scenario that, there's always scenarios that can play out, right? But as you can see here, we have this drop, and then we should continue higher to here, and then we get then we get this, right? Like, yes, that's coming. Now, what I'm worried about, as you can see, you have 3 waves up here. What if it's done? That's possible. We may not get this second swing up to 124 that I'm looking for. This is just a bear flag, guys, on a bigger. This is like a 30-year. It's going to be a 30-year bear flag that's going to eventually break down. And when it does, God help us, right? It's going to be right? You have 3, a connector, and then 3. And the measured move takes the dollar index down to these unthinkable areas that, again, people would say Looney Tunes for thinking about. but I'm just saying what the chart says. And so you got to respect the chart. That's why I said this trend line, this bear flag, if it breaks down, then you have to call X's in. And guess what? That's going to open up a waterfall. So that's why you got to respect the chart and not hope for this little pump is going to save the dollar and bring in deflation. There's no guarantee that this is going to happen. This will be a test. When we're down in this area, it'll be interesting to see what's going on. What news is going to be out there? This will be interesting to see where we are. But it should bounce, and the dollar should stay supported for many more years before we have to worry about that. That's how I look at the dollar index now. And again, guys, if you don't get your questions answered, if you want to do a super chat, I'll go right to it. And if not, I just kind of go in the order they're put in the stream. And that's how I do this. So if you haven't ever followed me, and you're like, I only stay on usually for an hour, and then I'm done. So SWBI, I think, is another one here. Oh yeah, I gave this trade alert, and I showed the inverse head and shoulders. It broke out finally, so it's it isn't rocket science. It's like a 1-2-1-2 setup. Much more upside to come, and you can see a bigger inverse head and shoulders is playing out here, right? See? It just morphed into a bigger one. Now, let's take a closer look before I just go off of it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Looks like we broke that low, so probably has a little more downside. But I wouldn't get too bearish on it. Yeah, 1, 2. So 1243. Something like that, and a 1-2-1-2 setup, trying to come out of this massive downtrend, which should shoot us up to 20 bucks. That's what we're hoping for. Okay, ALPP. What's that one again? I've seen that. I think we've done that one before. Oh, it screwed us up. It must have reverse split or something. Damn. Well, I'm not going to redo the chart on it, but if the daily RSI, like you said, you said it broke down. On the daily time frame, broke the all-time low on the daily. So here, I mean, technically, as long as that low holds, it could still be bullish. But now you have bullish divergence. So some kind of impulse down. You're in some fifth wave. So you're in a fifth wave. So, I mean, if you look at it, there's your wave 3 right there. There's your 3. There's your 4. So this is just some fifth wave down. So if we want to just kind of label that fifth wave down, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. So it's got a little more downside left. I'll just try to label this real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3, 4, 5. And then it's got a 3, another bigger 4, and another 5. So then whenever that's finished, it should rip out of this, correct that whole drop, and come back to like 9 bucks. So that's the penny stock, trading advice here that I'm kind of talking to you about. There's your wedge. At some point, it comes out of the wedge, and hopefully, you're ready for that, and you hold through the volatility. So something like that is probably where it's going. And when it's done, it comes out, and then it's anyone's guess where it's going after that. I mean, so there's the accumulation area right here. Of course, it can't go below 0. Well, you get the idea, something like that. So, wouldn't it be something if you saw another pump like this to say, like, wow, it went to 76. So that's how I look at it anyway. Okay, let's see here. Don for 2. Looks like you put a bunch of these in here. I'll try to do everything I can that I have. TNDM. Tandem diabetes. They were in the news, I heard, recently for some reason. TN. So there's no divergence there. So it's just some massive 3-way move. So one, two. It's impulse down in 5. It's too big for an expanded flat. So it's a very bearish. They must dilute quite a bit. So it's probably done 1. It's probably in 2. And it's just going to keep going down. They're going to keep reverse splitting. It's nothing I would go long. I mean, go long like as an investor. Just whatever the company's doing, it just seems to be massive dilution to shareholders happening here. And some kind of 5th wave. It actually ended it here. So it's probably in 2 already in some kind of flat correction. So it could probably get up to 52, and then it's a short opportunity in this area, given the chart. But do what's best for you. I could be wrong. This too could still pump and see. So I do think it's higher in the short term, but I think at some point the rally fails and it goes back to its usual MO, whatever the company's been doing, dilution, and so on. Okay, so let's see, XES. Oh, it's oil and gas. So as you can see, it looks bullish. Let's look at the monthly. Even divergence on the monthly, it looks like we have now with a higher high. It's still in that. So it looks like it's in a wave 5 off the low, but it could be in a 1-2, 1-2, like the other like OIH is. It's probably something like that. You know, it's tough to say. I think it's too bullish, but you can't rule it out that it's in a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 setup. So I don't like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this. I like this, and do what's best for you. And I think it's pretty bullish, and I would look at it that way. YNN is a good opportunity potentially if you believe in China. Now, if China's going to break that pivot and go down, to the new lows, then you don't want to own YNN. YNN is similar to the Hang Seng, right? 1 2 1 2, looking for this to come out into the 50s. So this has to hold though, 29. So that's what I have for YNN. I think it's still higher, but if we start losing this pivot, we could be a waterfall sell-off. So I'd be really careful to, in it. And really, if that breaks, then this should break. So that's why, I mean, China, it's like do or die moment. China's in a backing into the low situation. You're almost backing into the low technically because the downside risk is so significant. It almost seems not possible. XPEV is one of the, what is that? That's like another EV play, I think. Yeah, so that's in another 1 2 1 2, just like I have it as the Hang Seng, ready to come out of that, and it's building momentum. I can't rule out that it's a 3 and a 4 and we're in 5. So that's probably the safest bet to think of it that way. But again, it's just another dip buy. KRUS. I don't think I have that chart, maybe, unless someone's asked for it before. Kura Sushi. All right, you got a big cycle finished here. 1 2 3 4 5. So that's really simple, right? And now it looks like it's wave 3's done, or close. Yeah, it looks like it's finished. So now you're in wave 4 off this low. Or actually, maybe it's a 1 2. So maybe that you're still in 3. Yeah, it's this 3 could be done, but my first reaction is you're still in a smaller degree 3, something like that, and then it should be finishing its cycle, and then pulling back to correct, something like that, and then rocket out of that, and then it's not exact, but we should see like $200 at some point. But I think it's like sideways price action coming up, something like that. Then can you check NRGU? Oh, that's that energy ETF. NRGU. I thought I have that here somewhere. If I can find it. Oh, there it is. What's interesting is it found support on the long-term trend line. You see that? It's being saved. Now, I have a dip buy. If you look, 3, but we haven't broke that low yet. So as long as this low holds, it's still bullish. And what I don't like though, that looks like 3 up, right? 1 2 3 4. We never broke 5, so it's 3 and 3. So we're in some kind of consolidation area, but it looks like it's breaking bullish. You see that? So I believe this drop won't come now, and it's full in. Bears are being fooled in energy. I would say do not be bearish energy. I'm not. So you'd have to look at it as something like this, and then perhaps there's a 3 4 5 in that. Yeah, see, that looks like 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder if energy's about to rip this week higher, man. Oh, what this is telling me, energy may be about to rip higher this week. That may be the trade to be in. What's oil doing right now? What's the oil doing? Nothing really. Yeah, I would not I would be really bullish at the moment, and do what's best for you. I can be wrong, but it looks like we're going to come back, at least retest 463. But if we can break that, we already broke the weekly RSI, so if this breaks, this should propel us into another wave higher. Another wave higher. Let's see, RUN, Sunrun. So that's an impulse down. It looks like a massive flat correction. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like confirmed until that see this when this weekly breaks, then I would say the bottom's in. Until then it could still grind lower on you, but it looks like it's about to finish at any moment. It may already be finished actually looking at that. So to me that looks pretty good. I don't know what they do again. This is showing us like energy, the green stock like should be running if this is like something to do with um energy, solar. Yeah, so maybe this is saying solar's gonna run soon. KRE is relief rally correction. That's a tough one to guess longer term, but I think I gave this setup 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and out, and now it's swinging higher. So it should make one more swing up and to to 49.67 to this area, and that will kind of be the moment of truth. Now, if that's the low, it's possible given it's an ABC considering it, and you look at the RSI reset there, and it went deep enough and it held that. So I think for right now the trend is going to be market supported, especially with the Dow extending higher. So I would just continue to play this on the upside for now. And this could be a lot of things. I won't label it, but do what's best for you on that. Um, Baidu, Baidu hit our buy area, remember, gave that alert. And it's really been choppy. It looks like it's up 5 waves now. Should be pulling back. Right, so I'm looking for 130. And then Crisp. I think that's that's a Kathy Wood stock, isn't it? Yeah, that's in a buy area right now. So that should continue higher. It should at least make it to 100 at some point. So this is an area to go long in. And again, it could be wrong. Uh, Again, the way it bottomed was ugly. That's why I have it going lower. But given this market, I wouldn't, yeah, it's just hard to see this as a flat. It looks like an impulse down. So it just looks like a tradable instrument that should get one more swing higher. ELAN. It's a very bearish instrument. This is again another like flat correction. It hit the buy area and bounced, so this is probably finished. It's at a low here. I would have bought it at 982. It looks like it's bouncing out of that, and it's in a wave 3 off the low. So chances are it's ready to reverse and out. Okay, and then GDRX. What's GDRX? Good. Let's see here. 3 connector, massive impulse down. So it actually is probably like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So wow, this thing got destroyed. This is not a good looking chart at all. And that would be the first move down. It's probably done here. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to see if divergence got erased. So you still have some there on the monthly. Looks like it's close enough. So I think you've got to say that's the low. So you're trading against this this bottom here at 383. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down in 2, and going into wave 3. So that's how I would trade this. It's in some kind of wave 3 at the moment. Now it could be 4, 5. It could be another 1, 2. So many possibilities, but it seems like it's reversing as well out of whatever catastrophe it had gone through as a company. Then wheat. If the dollar's going down, I think wheat should go up, right? Wheat should go higher. On the monthly, the stochastic reset, no divergence. So yeah, I would be very bullish on wheat, and that sucks for commodities. Imagine if that happens. We thought Ukraine was bad. Good luck with what's about to happen. Again, these are what the charts are predicting, guys. It's not, I know it's news that nobody wants to hear, but it's just saying, well, this is what the chart is saying to me. So we never made it to the real shakeout low, but that would be too extreme. Yeah, so it didn't really have a good bottom. So it's not like a perfect structure. The trade, you see, you have 3. You really need another. It could even have another swing lower. So I would say it's maybe not guaranteed it's going to bottom yet, but do what's best for you. I don't like trading it, but at some point it is going to moon like I have here. Unfortunately for everyone that lives in the world, wheat is going higher. And MSTR, I don't like their chart. I don't trade it because I don't like how it bottomed, which I don't know if there's surprise enterprise risk, but it's in the short area, and it is what it is. You have 3 down, 3 up, and we can make new lows to 100. Does that mean Bitcoin's going to collapse? Maybe this is foreshadowing that, or maybe something's wrong with this enterprise and this company. The reason I don't like it is how it bottomed, if I remember right. Too much divergence on the daily, and I think even the weekly I don't particularly like it, because this is low. This is a lower low than that point. So I just don't like trading it. Um, so yeah, it's because this low broke that low. So what this also tells me in C is it's probably I wouldn't short it here anymore because this has got an impulse out, and that impulse is not finished. We are not. So this impulse has to impulse out, and it hasn't. It's still got more upside. So it's still got more upside, but I don't like trading it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I just there's so many other things to get crypto, but I don't like this look. I just don't like this chart. So, but do what's best for you. CVX. What's CVX? Is that a crypto? Oh, Chevron. Yeah, I have Chevron. So, Chevron is somewhere around here. Let me see up in my oil. I wanted to see it finish in 5 in a flat correction, but now what we saw NRGU doing, I bet this isn't going to happen anymore. And now what we probably have to think about is a much more bullish structure where this is a 1 and a 2, and we're coming out. Didn't it have earnings or something coming up? One, two, three, four, five. So um, could it be a run-in flat? Yeah, I'd probably just call it a run-in flat and put 2 here. How did it do? Did it? I don't know. I know I heard it reported earnings. So we'll see what happens. I don't do the 10-2. Sorry about that. So anyway, all right. Thanks for it. Enough of those. You have to go on to other questions now, but I appreciate the $4. So let me see what else you got. T-Mobile. Yeah, didn't T-Mobile break down? Or was it I said AT&T? You guys want AT&T? Yeah, AT&T. I wasn't. I think I glanced at it after it collapsed, and I'm like, oh, it's still not ready yet. I'm looking for like $10. I still think it's got more downside. It's not done. So I wasn't interested in buying the dip. It's a pretty clear three-wave structure. That here's your A, B, and now you're in your impulse down. So you're in your kind of capitulation. Now you finally broke that low. I mean, geez, so it's got more downside. It's still got lower prices. Uh, Boyle, I thought natural gas was trying to hold up, and it tends to trade with oil. Oil's been holding up. So remember we had this downtrend line, and we said be careful, it could be fake out. It was. It broke the low. It came back to 55, and then it started going higher, and there's no divergence, so that's probably the bottom. So it was like a shakeout for the day traders that were just FOMOing in on it, and that's why this is so hard to trade. And now it's trading off of 55, and you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like. And then it should pull back and come out. I do expect this high will be taken out. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And look at this massive bottom formation. And then that should take you to $100. And that's what it looks like to me at the moment. And then, of course, natural gas, keep an eye on it. It hit the buy area here for this 1, 2. We want to see it take 2.8. It takes 2.8, and then I would say the bottom's in, the final low, and then that should do it. So we'll see how it ends up. I did NRGU. Confederate dollar went into. Okay, I guess you can say that happened in U.S. But for different reasons, right? You're awesome. Thank you, Yo Yo. Oh, Coke. Oh yeah, I haven't looked at these in a while. The consumer staples. I believe they're all supported as long as they can. The market perceives they can pass on their price increases. So I mean that could be the low there. Capit. You got them. So let's go to the weekly. Yeah, so there's no divergence there. So you really want to watch the weekly RSI, and when it breaks that trend line, the low's in place. So I'm still very bullish on Coke. I still think it's going higher. I have no reason to sell this if you're in it. There we go. And I think it's just consolidating. And if for some reason it does take a dump to 56, it's a gift the market is giving you. And this is a continuation pattern that should play out and get us into this $80 or $90 area. It's coming. BAC. Oh, Bank of America. Bank of America. Um, so big picture, you have 5 down, AB, and then you broke that low. It's struggling. My guess is no matter what happens here, it's got lower prices coming. 1840 is possible. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's going to get screwed in the commercial real estate situation. Uh, that trend line break-in doesn't have that much significance to me, other than we could be forming, this could be a bigger connector. And as we know, some connectors go on for years and years, maybe even the rest of the decade even. And we could be in one of those situations with Bank of America. It's really not tradable, in my opinion. It could be in something like, A here, and then we could be in a B. It could do something like that. So it's really to me this is just a mess. I wouldn't trade it given the lower low. See, it's a lower low. You have let's go to the weekly here. I just noticed this on the daily. Look at that RSI reset. Is that the low in price? Yeah, so this is why RSI analysis is powerful with Elliott waves, because when I see that RSI reset here, then I have to respect that as a truncation. So it looks like to me it truncated significantly in this sell-off. And again, whether you feel like it deserved to or not, the Y should have extended, it didn't. So I do think you're trading against 26. Um, you know, I would still stay away from it, but I wouldn't. I'm not as bearish on it as perhaps now given, because that's what that RSI reset tells you is there was massive capitulation. I mean, look at the daily. It was like a massive capitulation here, massive. Only the strongest hands kept and held. That to me is significant. So I think you should, I think it's now bullish, but I wouldn't buy it yet. I would want more confirmation. Uh, Maybe take out 38 to confirm it. All right, so thanks for the super chat, TRJ. I'll do that and then I'll wrap it up. And again, if you didn't get your question answered, the super chat, I'll make sure I do that. Cocoa, what's Cocoa here? Is that the commodity, or what is that here? The Vita company. Okay, I don't know. I don't know this chart. Let's take a look. Pretty bullish here. Good reset. 1, 2. Another reset. So look at that reset. That's hidden. Look at that hidden bullish divergence. Your RSI almost is oversold, but look at the higher price. So it's very bullish. Whatever this company does, and I'm going to look at it in a minute, is obviously people want it. And because the reset was so significant, it's another one too. Could it go lower? It would have to take this out. It would have to drop even further down. Anything's possible. We could see how it came off the bottom. So you have some divergence. So chances are it's in some kind of 4 and 5 right now. And then it'll pull back. So anyway, what does this thing do? Oh, coconut water and stuff like that. Oh, it seems to be pretty popular. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. Okay, cocoa. Interested. All right, KDK. Oh, that's the Dr. Pepper. Yeah, that's I showed that chart earlier. Um, if I can find it here. So again, I gave this trade alert, and when we're in this area, it's coming out. I believe it's a major low, and it's it for long-term investors. You should be okay. It's traders, of course, it's going to be choppy, but I believe big picture, you're in a massive flat that's finished, and it should go to new highs from here. So that's looking pretty good. Continuing for more upside. BROS, Dutch Brothers. Same thing, 1 2 1 2. It's coming out of its low, and that looks like, and we made a higher high, so this should continue higher as well. And then Celsius has been full in the shorts. It's in this two wave, and I think it's 140 is probably all you're gonna get if you're hoping for lower prices. It just doesn't seem like the market wants to give that to you. Uh, it's burning RSI. You see on the daily stochastic way. It's just it's trapping short right now. What's happening is it's trapping shorts. People are shorting it, thinking it's a wave 5, and I'm so smart, it's a wave 5. But what's going to happen is it's going to extend even higher in a 3, and this was just a massive 1 2. So I would just say, perhaps you could get a dip to 138 if you're lucky. That would be a nice opportunity. Let's find another price for it. Maybe 137, somewhere here now. But it may not make it. But if it could get to 137, 134, that would be really, really, really a good opportunity. And let's see how it goes. People want it. All right, guys, that's all I've got today for time. You didn't get your question answered. As you know, Super Chat, I go right to it. We'll see how trading goes, and we'll see how it works out and how this week goes. I think you have some selling into the Fed announcement, and maybe post-Fed's more bullish than people realize. And maybe with CPI, perhaps there won't be any selling. People just be bullish into the news and then continue to run. What kind of CPI did. Futures, not seeing a big crash here. Not seeing panic. I'm just seeing selling. But I do think there's some more downside here. I do think so. If we stay supported, we could still be in a connector. But yeah, I wouldn't get too bearish this market at the moment, given this technical